the G League Ignite is no longer a thing, doesn't exist. They had players like Jalen Green, Jonathan Kaminga, Dyson Daniels, Marjon Beauchamp, Jayton Hardy, Scoot Henderson, Ron Holland, and Matas Buzelis. Was the G League Ignite, that whole experiment, was it a complete failure in your eyes based off what we've seen of those players in the NBA?
I'd say so. I mean, it did give an avenue for some of these high school kids who, I guess, before the whole NIL stuff became a reality, they could earn money, use that year out of high school, and then go into the draft. So, in that sense, it worked. Like, they've had some talent come out of the G League Ignite, but I feel like the development wasn't always prioritized. Like, Dink Pate or Pates, I don't know. I might have messed it up, whatever. But he was the youngest guy to go over to the G League Ignite a couple years ago. He was like a top 15, top 20 prospect in high school at the time. Spent a couple years or a year over there and then went overseas. And he went undrafted this year. So did he really improve his stock like he could have in college, or if he would have, I don't know, maybe taken the Brandon Jennings route and gone overseas, like LaMelo did. Some of these other guys, like I feel like if you're good enough, it would have benefited some of these kids more going overseas where they're playing against real pros and not to knock the G League, because a lot of guys have come out of the G League and made productive careers. But I don't think the competition level is the same as what you're going to get overseas, where the game's a little more physical. Uh, you get to learn how to play different style of basketball. You're not going to be looked at as the guy when you're over there, so you get to learn how to play a different role. So I think a lot of ego goes into that when you're playing in the G League Ignite and all these guys are top prospects going here and expecting, like, I'm going to dominate. I did this in high school. These are no-name guys who've been journeymen I'm playing against. Like, I should dominate them, and then that'll improve my stock. Well, clearly it didn't work. So, yeah, I mean, they had to get rid of it, and especially now with the NIL working as it is, and these guys getting millions and millions of dollars to play at these different colleges, where you're playing top competition. You're playing in front of eyes. Like, that's the other thing. Like, G League Ignite, I mean, if they're not on NBA TV, you're not really seeing it unless you're going on the G League website to watch games. And I don't know who's really tapped in like that, that's watching G League games like that. So um, I do think the G League experience was a failure. Um, yeah, I think it was a failure.
I would have to agree. I think the G League Ignite was a failure. I think even when we look at the high school teams that's still around, like the overtime selects and the other stuff, the schools, what's that school in Florida that is all strictly IMG Academy? Like, some come out and do their thing. A lot of the times, most don't and aren't prepared once they get to that professional level.
Didn't Jalen Green go to play in G League Ignite instead of go to
Yeah,
college?
He did.
that was one of the
And,
names.
and Jalen Green's biggest problem is that he's still weak and can't he gets bumped off his line on drives. And I don't know how that happens if you were a pro for a year before you came into the pros. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like how you
But
didn't get.
look at Scoot. Scoot came up in the G League too, and I feel like his game hasn't really grown as much as we thought it would be by this time. I mean,
I wish
granted,
I watched more of him.
they're two different types of players, but
Yeah, yeah. I wish I watched more of him when he was over there to be able to speak to what just to have a real opinion about his game. I watched him a bit, and he would always look pretty good, but something's not right. The signs were probably there before, but I'll watch him more this year because I'm curious. I mean, I know you put goggles on all of a sudden, and maybe you couldn't see none, but I don't. And I know he played a little bit better last year, but sometimes you swing and miss. I mean, he's not a great shooter at his size. He's strong. He's athletic, but you got to be able to shoot the basketball in the NBA now. You can't shoot. You're gonna have a hard time. Maybe that's the biggest thing. The Rondo guy doesn't work anymore. It's over for that. It's over.
look how crazy it is that one pick away for some of these teams, like Portland. one pick away from getting Wemby or something like that. Or same with Houston, one pick away from getting a guy like Cade on your team, where these are like generational all NBA guys versus, good role players. Like I think Jalen Green can be a good role player.
Hmm. Well, people were excited when they got Jalen, and the Jalen and Cade conversation was easy. It was easy when it happened. Cade was special, and you saw it at Montverde. It didn't take that long to watch him and understand what he was going to be in the NBA as well. And I don't think overtime deserves credit for Amen Thompson because
Mm.
Asar is okay. Asar is okay, but Amen Thompson is is a generational athlete. Like it is generational the way like guys don't move like that. So overtime doesn't get credit for that. Like that kid was going to be what he's going to be. And as a matter of fact, if we're being very honest, we should probably criticize overtime because he shouldn't have came into the NBA that far behind with his shot. If
Bruh,
anything, who was there teaching is the question. Because he should have been further ahead shooting the basketball than he was. He couldn't shoot a lick worth a damn. Go to college then. Just go to college. Like get the NILs there. Go to college. I think it would change the conversation for those guys if NIL existed back then.
we've had this conversation in the chat. Yes, Amen, really good. Had a good season. Moves very fluid. Could do a lot on the basketball court. Asar on a slighter, less level can do the same that Amen does. But I've been asking since they got into the league. We heard all the reports when they were drafted. They're gym rats. What are you doing in the gym that you're that far behind on your jump shot? If you're a gym rat, why didn't they hire you, Greg? Like, and not trying to be funny. What are they doing in the gym? You've seen it at the coaching level. If you're a gym rat and they talking about they was in there 6-7 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
What are they working on? Defensive slides? What was Ahmed and Asar working on that
Yeah.
even Asar be airballing free throws? What was the coaching staff doing that they can't shoot 75% from the free throw line? They ain't got no
People think
floaters in their game. Fine, maybe you ain't got a
yeah.
three. You ain't got a floater. You don't got a midi. You ain't got a 10-footer. You don't got none of that. You just dunk and run that and slide your feet.
As a guard. And these guys think you get in the gym and you think the amount of hours you put in the gym is just the simple answer. It's like, what are you doing when you're there? I'd rather spend an hour doing quality stuff than 5 hours doing nothing. Is kind of the idea. So it's crazy to me. Like again, overtime is just getting started with it. Like I know they're new, so probably don't have access to the greatest coaches in the world or whatever. But it's what a weird decision it was on his part to go there. And I understood it in real time, but he would have benefited so much more from great coaching because he's such a great athlete that the shooting in and of itself, if he can do that, it's over. He's going to be an all-star, a perennial all-star.
And to your point, I don't know if you ever seen it, but Jalen Green in the summertime, his trainer is like I think his IG name is Mr. Do It Moving. He does more of the
I seen him.
like body
Mm-hmm.
work without weights, like trying to have your much strength and be flexible in your balance, which is great because that's Drew Holiday's trainer. He trains Drew Holiday. He trains my man that was on your team, Mike James. He trains those players, and you could tell
Mm-hmm.
they have a different type of natural strength where they move and whatnot. Jalen Green, though, to your point, you might need to go lift some weights, my boy. You
Jalen Green, Jalen Green worked out with that guy.
That's what I'm
Him and
saying.
Fred
Like
VanVleet.
that's
I've
not
seen
that might
that.
not be the right person for him
He needs
specifically.
to bulk. He needs to bulk up. He's weak. He get when he drives, he's not moving the defender. The defender's moving him. That defender's dictating where he ends up. That's his biggest problem. It's actually not a talent thing so much. I had a conversation the other day with somebody going back and forth about Cam Thomas because Cam Thomas, what he said about Zach Lowe's comments, and somehow Jalen Green came up and someone was like, "Yeah, he's just like Jalen Green." I'm like, actually, I don't think Jalen Green is even as good of a scorer as him. I think Cam Thomas is a better scorer than Jalen Green, which is crazy, right? Because he's a better athlete and all that stuff. Jalen Green should be the better player far by leaps and bounds. But that strength is the functional strength. The strength is the thing he lacks. He needs to just lift and I don't know, drink some milk or something. Like he needs to get stronger. He lacks like just the strength to move people. Like Anthony Edwards moves people when he drives. Like It's not the same. I didn't realize it was that big of a problem until I saw TikTok, and I was like, that does make sense. Like I'm always seeing him kind of veer off on drives. When he gets to the rim, great things happen, but you don't get that often. He's just jacking up shots, so he's inefficient. And it's not like you're a great passer. What else? The thing about him is he don't do anything else on the floor. So if you're not like really great at scoring, then you're not going to be on the floor anyways. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Udoka just has no use for you. But yeah, people don't
We've
listen,
all
man.
we've all been there with playing basketball, and you got the OD strong person guarding you, pushing you off your spot. What you typically end up doing, you end up shooting the ball a lot because all right, I'm not able to get to
Mm,
my spots because this person is that much stronger than me. You go back in the lab, I got to get stronger so I can actually get into the paint, or I got to figure out how to use their strength against them, which we
you're
talked about
right.
the last
Every
episode that you was on, like with Isaiah Thomas. Hey, the man is 5'9", but he figured out how to have Marcus Morris fumbling all over his feet, who is a stronger individual. I think also it's the IQ and learning the game and what some players that we've seen, and yeah, we've all seen it. They saw the KD archetype and said, you know what, I could do the same thing, not realizing that KD is actually he's wiry, but he's strong. Prime KD is not getting pushed off his spot. KD's getting to anywhere he wants on the floor. Jalen Green can't say the same.
and the same rules don't apply for KD because he's so tall. Even if you push him on his spot, he's going to shoot over your head. Shoot over your head.
Seven
He's so
foot. Y'all not
tall.
7 feet.
The contest doesn't matter. But with a guy like if you look at Cam Thomas's build versus Jalen Green's build, Cam Thomas is strong. Like he's looking feel like a running back. You know, like so he drives it to the brim. Like he can bump off you and he can play off of the bump. Like he plays off the bump really really well. Jalen Green doesn't even play off bumps well. He just kind of like takes the contact and then either throws up a flailing shot or throw up a fadeaway shot. It's like there's just an immaturity there. He never matured, right? And I blame that on again. He wasn't coached. Going back to where this conversation started, he wasn't coached. He wasn't coached when he was at G League Ignite. They let him do whatever they want. Maybe that was Scoot's problem too. Maybe they were not coached. Like, that could easily be it. They were just kind of given the green light. They were the highly touted guy, the star. G League Ignite might be a business move on the NBA's part to kind of build up their G League presence and make the G League something people want to watch. So you're like, all right, we're going to kiss this guy's, you know what, is so that way we can get viewership and he can go out there and have big numbers, but it's not. There's no substance in it. They're not getting better because they're not getting held accountable and being coached, and that's probably exactly where it is. My light bulb just went off as we're talking about it because I'm like, now that I think about it, that's probably the common denominator between the both. Like just not being coached. Like hey, like you suck at this, we got to work at this. Like there's none. What's that's not is not happening. It's not probably not happening. That constructive criticism. So that's probably it, to be honest. And it's unfortunate, but I think I saw this coming with Jalen Green. I'm not particularly surprised. Super talented in high school though. Like it looked the part. I mean, it should have worked out. It's just where sometimes when you're that talented and you have people around you, those yes men, they'll be your downfall every time.
Facts, and maybe he'll learn a little something from D Book. D Book, another one that he made sure he was in the gym. Maybe
Man,
it's something
listen,
like I'm not saying he can get to this level, but maybe it's somebody like you reach out to a Kyrie. Kyrie isn't the biggest, strongest individual, but that man is so crafty. Again,
stronger than what he looks too.
knowing how
Yeah.
to take the angles, knowing where to act. We've seen it multiple times where Jalen Green is driving straight and ends up dag near behind the basket, trying to figure out some weird, crazy shot. You not. I've heard Kobe say it. They said something about, oh, the defense is doing this, and he said, I will dictate where the defense goes. That's when you study the film, you know the angles, you know your spots. I'm dictating what you do based off of how I decide to go. If I want to get to that elbow, I'm getting to that elbow. It's nothing you could do about it.
Yeah. It's like taking one dribble to your left. You understand what defense is in the shift. You understand if somebody open. Like it's just simple stuff like that. Jalen Green has never had to think the game in his entire career up until now. All right, like never. That's why he struggled in the playoffs and had one good game, literally one. Like like you never had to think. You were so much more gifted than everybody else around you, and you lived off that for a long time. And that's what happens. Like, but that's a lack of coaching. It's a lack of coaching. You never ran into the right coach to help develop you. You just had the talent to get there. That's it. So it happens. We see it's a tale all the time. But we'll see what happens in his development. I mean, I kind of am at a point with him where I'm like, I don't really see it. I think he is who he is, but you never know. Maybe things will change because even if you run the right coaching time, you can still revert to what you were before, like D'Angelo Russell. Great example, in my opinion. So, you know how that go.